There's a gentleman, a German scholar, his name is Celia Breitenbach, and he states this, that as he explores the crucifixion of Christ and the cross of Christ, he starts to look at it again from a Pauline standpoint. And he says this, that Paul uses metaphors about the death of Jesus. And Breitenbach also goes on further, and he argues that the work of Christ on the cross, it emphasizes something. It emphasizes our reconciliation between two enemies. And Breitenbach, in his study, he says this, that there's this language that is written in the text in which there are these two spheres, or maybe two cities or states, that are separated because of disagreement. There's something that has happened. But he said that in this disagreement, these two states, what they need to do is reestablish relationship while terminating warlike enmity between the two sides. And so Breitenbach uses this example, and he says, okay, this is how Paul is interpreting the historical actions that have occurred when it comes to Jesus Christ. He's saying that, here's the thing, God has been separated between himself and his creation because of sin. But Christ, on the other hand, what he does is he comes and he reconciles these two sides. These warlike groups have now been reconciled through Jesus Christ. And so Breitenbach, again, what he is doing is he's interpreting Paul's thoughts on the activity of reconciliation and atonement. Breitenbach is arguing that Jesus' death is not just an atonement, but it is about reconciliation. And so that's how Breitenbach is looking at the cross. Again, he's not looking at it per se from an atoning work or a payment or a sacrificial standpoint. He's looking at it specifically from a reconciliation standpoint. Now, on the other hand, there's a gentleman, his name is Jarvis Williams. Jarvis Williams is an African-American professor of New Testament at Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. And he argues something that is in opposition to what Breitenbach talks about when it comes to the crucifixion of Christ. And so you start to see that there are some differing opinions in regards to what the cross means. And so what Jarvis Williams indicates is this, that Breitenbach's thoughts in regards to the crucifixion of Christ actually contradicts Paul's argument in Romans chapter 5, verses 8 through 10. And what Williams states is this, that the text should be understood as both sacrificial and penal. And now we need to understand what does he mean by penal? And when we talk about penal substitution, it's punishment for an offense. And so what Williams is saying is that Jesus went to the cross because there was a need to pay or to be punished for the offense. Now, Jesus was not punished because he was sinless, but he's being punished on behalf of humanity. He is representation for humanity. And therefore, Jarvis Williams is saying, from a contextual standpoint, the evidence demonstrates or offers that God offers his son, Jesus, as an elasterion. That's a nice fancy Greek word. And, for those out there, forgive me, I'm going to throw some Greek at you every once in a while. We see that there are these different views on the work of Christ on the cross. There's different thoughts when it comes to, for example, atonement theories. And so when we think about atonement theories, there are a number of different thoughts. Now, let me stop here. If you like what you're hearing, do me a favor. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment below.